Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
I can smell what the Rock's cooking.
Welcome to Backlash 2000. Many people say this is the show WrestleMania 2000 should have been, but we'll see about that in today's video. It's the 30th of April, we're in the MCI Centre in Washington DC, the current home of WCW Starrcade events, and we've got just over 19,000 in the arena with 650,000 watching at home on pay-per-view, a seriously impressive number for a show that's not one of the big four. I know a lot of you guys who watch Reliving the War every week have been looking forward to this one. We're going to see The Rock vs Triple H in our main event for the WWF title, but we kick things off with Edge and Christian defending their tag team belts against Road Dogg and X-Pac. Well, look who's back. Deborah's at Backlash and she's serving as our special guest ring announcer for this opening match. Not sure if she's really got the voice for ring announcing, but sure, I don't have the voice for YouTube videos. These two teams had a good match on Raw a few weeks ago, so let's see if they can do the same again tonight at Backlash. Quick side note, absolutely iconic entranceway at this pay-per-view. The big swinging hooks look awesome, and I really do miss these unique entrance setups that the WWF used to put onto their shows. The crowd are chanting X-Pac sucks, and he shows that he certainly does not suck with his wristlock escape at the ropes followed by an arm drag. Even Edge stopped to show his appreciation. That appreciation went out the window after a spinning wheel kick from Edge that sent Pac out of the ring, and DX are forced to rethink their game plan before Road Dogg tags in. Edge performs a flying head scissors before tagging in Christian. We see some solid double teamwork from the tag team champions, and Christian's able to keep X-Pac fighting from underneath after a power slam. DX have to cheat to get the upper hand. Road Dogg drops Christian over the top rope, and this gives the challengers a little breathing room. Christian makes a tag, but the referee doesn't see it, and this allows DX to utilize more underhanded tactics as the crowd loudly boo. Very basic stuff we're seeing here, but it's also very effective. Christian takes a Bronco Buster before X-Pac tags out. The DOGG conducts serious business with a devastating chinlock, and Road Dogg follows up with a dancey punch and a dancey knee, pulling out all the stops here at Backlash, folks. A mid-air collision sends both men to the mat, and Edge pulls off a diving headbutt on Road Dogg while the referee's busy with X-Pac. A double reverse DDT from Christian finally gives him the break he's looking for, and Edge comes in like a house on fire. Our match then comes to an end with Tori playing a pivotal role in the outcome. She gets on the apron and X-Pac accidentally knocks her down. Christian then goes out to hit her with an inverted DDT, but it's stopped by the Road Dogg. The referee checks on Tori while X-Pac hits the X Factor on Edge, and this allows Christian to grab the ring bell and Kid gets knocked out. Christian, who was not the legal man, pins X-Pac to retain the tag team championships. A very standard tag team match, but one the crowd enjoyed a lot, and the crowd's energy comes across well on TV. Kid's been busted open from that bell shot, and I think this was unintentional. The bell made a pretty sickening sound when it smacked Waltman on the head, and it's also pretty pointless blading at the very end of a match. But there you go, nothing special in terms of what happened in the ring, but still enjoyable to watch. Next, we've got Scotty to Hotty getting another shot at Dean Malenko's Light Heavyweight Championship. Scotty won the belt 2 weeks ago, he dropped it back to Dean on SmackDown this past week, so Mr. Hotty wants to win that belt back while his tag partner is still out with an injury. It was all Scotty at the opening bell, backdrops, back suplexes, the man even moonwalked, which, to be fair, didn't do him any favours at all, because Dean went on offense the moment Scotty began dancing. The challenger also got frustrated, which again didn't help him as Dean takes advantage with a low dropkick, and the Iceman then began working over Scott's left knee by keeping things on the mat and also by using the ring post to his advantage. From here, the match becomes all mat-based as Malenko softens Scott up for the cloverleaf. The crowd dies down a little while Scotty tries to get back into it, and it looks bleak for the challenger after a knee breaker. Scotty, however, is able to deliver an enziguri, but he gets shut right back down again when Malenko focuses on the injured body part. The two men tumble to the outside, and Scotty gets a break when Dean tries to get back inside the ropes. He doesn't make the most of it though, because when the action resumes, Dino Machino pulls off a superplex. Eventually, Scott's able to hit his facebuster, and after getting his knee totally destroyed throughout the whole match, he's still able to bounce on it when performing the worm. The move is super over, so all's forgiven, I guess. Dean tries to steal a win, the referee catches him cheating, so he pulls off a double underhook sit-down powerbomb and a power slam as the match finally begins to really heat up. Just as it was getting good, it comes to an end. Scotty tries to superplex his opponent, but Dean counters with a great looking top rope DDT. Dean gets the 1-2-3 after this move, so Dean Malenko remains WWF Light Heavyweight Champion. I think too much of this one was spent on the mat, and it's a shame that all the knee damage was shaken off for the sake of the worm, but the last few moments of the match kinda made up for it. Solid enough bout though, all things considered. Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe are once again backing up Vince McMahon like the corporate little ass sniffers they really are. Shane shows off his referee shirt saying as he's officiating our main event tonight, and McMahon tells his stooges it's all hands on deck. Looks like McMahon wants to ensure The Rock doesn't leave Backlash as the new WWF champion. The Acolytes, the Big Boss Man, and Bill Buchanan got caught up in this Rock vs Triple H feud, with the APA backing up both Rock and Chris Jericho these past few weeks, while Bill and Boss Man helped out the McMahon-Helsmley faction. So these two teams met in our next matchup, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Bill Buchanan showed off his agility with this clothesline right here. Farouk pulled off his spinebuster, which is always a pleasure to see. It's also quite good to see the Acolytes wrestle a match as full-blown babyfaces, seeing as we've been so used to them portraying bad guys, or at best, tweeners. But it was heel tactics from their opponents that ultimately cost the APA the match. The Big Boss Man used his nightstick while the referee wasn't looking, and Buchanan pulled off his impressive top rope leg drop for the win. The WWF are giving these guys quite a push recently, but it's maybe at the expense of fan satisfaction, because the crowd are now fully behind Bradshaw and Farouk, something that wasn't even imaginable this time last year. Next, we've got ourselves a 6-man hardcore match. First fall to a finish, though I think Crash must be pinned for the belt to change hands. The Hardy Boys are competing against each other here, but they're still on good terms, as confirmed by their pre-match promo. Hardcore Holly, meanwhile, would rather slap the shit out of his cousin instead of forming any kind of alliance. The other two competitors competing in this match are Taz and Perry Saturn. The match got underway the moment Saturn made his entrance, and after a brief scuffle in the ring, the competitors made the journey to the giant hook set up at the entranceway. Some great stuff here as Matt dived from one of the hooks onto all 5 of his opponents. Saturn performed a front suplex on Crash, which broke one of the giant entrance props, and Jeff Hardy gained some momentum from another hook when performing a Hurricane Rana. This is why entrance props need to make a comeback. They don't only look good, but they're also pretty practical. Back in the ring, Taz goes crazy with a trash can lid, though he gets put in his place with poetry in motion from the Hardys. A 2x4 comes into play, and once again Taz gets wiped out. Saturn then pulls off a submission move in the middle of a 6-man hardcore match, which wasn't the brightest idea. And yeah, we just evolve into the usual chaos, and I kinda wish they kept the entrance fight for the end of the bout. Everyone stops Crash from getting pinned. The Hardys begin working together, but they also stop each other from winning the match. Hardcore Holly almost wins it after pulling off a Falcon Arrow. The crowd were kinda silent as this one progressed on, but they seriously popped when the Hardys pulled out a ladder, and even Jim Ross made mention of the crowd reaction here. Matt and Jeff used the ladder to great effect. Everyone gets a taste of the Hardy Boys' new favourite weapon, however the lads don't attack each other. Instead, Matt delivers a twist of fate to Crash before holding the ladder steady for a Jeff Hardy Swanton Bomb. And then, when Matt tries to cover Crash, Jeff smacks him across the face. This is very interesting, and there was always that question about which Hardy Boy would win in a one-on-one encounter, but nothing really gets settled here because Taz wipes them both out with a double clothesline. Crash gets put in the Taz mission, Saturn breaks it up with a stop sign, the Hardys decide to jump to the outside to take out Holly and Saturn, and this allows Crash to score a sneaky pinfall win on Taz. Somehow, Elroy's escaped another WWF show with his hardcore title, and yeah, another okay match, but as mentioned, I just wish the spots at the entranceway were kept for the end of the bout. It kinda felt like the crowd petered out a bit the longer this one went on. The coach thinks Shane McMahon may not be an impartial referee tonight, but Shane says he's gonna call it right down the middle. Yeah, I'm fucking sure you are. Rock and Triple H are thoroughbreds. Shane understands he has a huge responsibility tonight, but he's not going to sway one way or the other, and apparently he's going to be a good little match official in our main event. The Big Show's got a match next against Kurt Angle. Show's wanted to show a more entertaining side to his character ever since WrestleMania, but Kurt Angle's already getting tired of this overgrown idiot. So Hollywood Big Show could be no more after tonight, and speaking of Hollywood, the Big Show decided to dress up tonight as the one and only Hulk Hogan. The timing of this is quite notable, seeing as Hulk recently brought up how his gimmick's getting screwed around with by Bischoff and Russo over on Nitro, and Hulk even mentioned that he's not Hogan anymore but rather just plain old Terry Bollea. So Big Show's grabbed that Hulk Hogan gimmick by the balls and he's gonna run wild with it, brother. The Showster's having a lot of fun tonight and so are the fans. He grabs a microphone and he cuts a promo.
Well, you know something, Kurt Angle, dude? You run around talking a lot of trash, man, about what you're gonna do when you're a real hero. Well, let me tell you something, brother. I've been to the top of the mountain. I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, dude. I've got the largest pythons in the world, brother. So what you gonna do when the Showster goes wild on you?
The bell rings, Angle goes on offense, but the Showster starts no-selling and he starts hulking up. What you gonna do, brother? Big boot, big leg, Big Show's gonna win this one early, but no, Angle kicks out at 2. Kurt gets very brave indeed when he goes after Show's knee. He's gonna try to chop the big man down, and while he does pretty well at first, Big Show decides to kick Angle away, and this was done with quite a lot of force. Show's now in no mood to play games. He tosses Angle into the corner and Angle takes chops and back elbows. Angle then takes an elbow in the opposite corner before getting put down with a clothesline. And that's it over. The Showster signals for the chokeslam. Angle takes the big man's finishing move and the Big Show gets a pinfall win. Kinda surprised by this, seeing as Kurt's been getting a mega push over the past few months while Big Show's been looking like a giant goof. But still a very entertaining comedy match here, and it's all thanks to the Showster. Bubba Ray Dudley's having a bit of a dilemma. On one hand, he wants to powerbomb Trish Stratus through a table because reasons. But on the other hand, Trish is just way too attractive and this stops Bubba from violently beating on women. Trish has used this to her and TNA's advantage. Bubba is still completely captivated by her, as proven when he watches Trish cut a promo before our next match. And Devon tells his half-brother to snap out of it. The Dudleys are facing TNA next and Bubba needs to get on his game tonight at Backlash. The match begins and Bubba instantly starts chasing Trish around the ring. Not sure if he wants to hurt her or give her a little kiss, but either way, he gets a clothesline from Test instead. Inside the ring, Devon puts Albert down with a clothesline before tagging Bubba in, and it looks like Bubba's going to try to stay focused as he goes on offense. Jim Ross reveals that Stone Cold Steve Austin, the man who's standing in The Rock's corner tonight, has not arrived at the building yet. JR says it's not like Austin to show up late, and this causes Ross a great deal of concern. Devon tags in, we see a double suplex followed by what JR calls the Dudley's unique version of birth control, but moments later Albert comes back with a pump kick before he tags in Test. TNA work together and Devon takes a big boot, and Test performs his pump handle powerbomb while asking the crowd who's the man. I know Test didn't have much of a character or gimmick before joining TNA, but he really has lost all his personality since becoming a tag wrestler. It's like he's just another big guy with long hair, you know? More double team moves keep TNA in control and Devon's in trouble after a power slam from Albert. The big man press slams his own partner on top of the Dudley boy, and Devon then finds himself in the wrong corner. TNA are making this look easy. Devon tags out after delivering a swinging neckbreaker. The referee doesn't see the tag though, and this reminds me a lot of the 6-man tag main event we watched 2 weeks ago on Raw. The crowd chants "We want tables" as the beatdown on Devon seems to go on for an absolute lifetime. But finally, a superplex gives Devon the break he's looking for. Gonna be honest, I'm skipping over a terrible lot here because it was pretty boring, especially when you're just waiting for the hot tag. Fundamentally sound tag wrestling by the way, but fundamentals usually don't equate to exciting wrestling. The Dudleys pull off a back suplex and neckbreaker combo that JR mistakes for a 3D. He seems surprised when Test kicks out at 2 and he says the Dudleys mustn't have got all of their finishing move. Bubba takes a sit-down powerbomb from Albert, but Test misses his big elbow drop. And when the Dudleys get the chance to really 3D Test, Trish gets on the apron. Bubba gets distracted, he takes a big boot, and Test ends up winning the match for his team via pinfall. TNA are on a roll, ladies and gents. After the bell, the Dudleys wipe TNA out. Test takes a cutter while Albert takes a 3D. Trish begins to panic and it looks like Bubba's gonna put her through a table, so she tries kissing Bubba again, but it doesn't work. Gotta say, it looks like Bubba's being a bit heavy-handed here with Miss Stratus, but as we had all found out soon enough, Trish was and is a pretty strong woman. Still, she takes the powerbomb through the table. The crowd goes crazy and Bubba shows us his creepy smile before Backlash moves on. The match was too long in my opinion, and too much of the match was spent on TNA beating up Devon. Fans in the arena love the ultimate payoff though, so what do I know? Trish has to get carried out on a stretcher, so I assume this feud hasn't ended yet. Eddie Guerrero in China just attended a prom, but Eddie's told his match is up next. If he doesn't get out of the ring now, he's going to forfeit his European title to Essa Rios. So Latino Heat says he and his mamacita are going to arrive to Backlash in style. Guerrero drives his Tri-5 Chevy into the arena and the crowd pops. Eddie and China were originally supposed to be a heel team, but how can you not like these two? Eddie's going to compete in his dress pants, and he's also going to keep that dicky bow on as he faces Essa Rios. Essa and Eddie made a good little tag team, but Lita unfortunately screwed up and she cost Essa and Eddie a victory. So Mr. Rios gets an opportunity at Eddie's gold, seeing as their potential tag team's been flushed down the toilet. Jumping back elbow from Eddie, tilt-a-whirl backbreaker from Essa, high angle back suplex from Eddie, arm throw from Essa. Eddie takes an arm drag and he ends up on the outside, though Essa's plancha misses and the challenger smashes his face on the floor. The two get back in the ring where Eddie pulls off his slingshot senton. Eddie then throws his opponent back outside where China gets in a sneaky forearm. This is completely shrugged off when Rios gets back inside the ring for a dropkick, and this gets followed up with a missile dropkick. Guerrero gets launched across the ring with a monkey flip, but once again it's Essa Rios who ends up on the outside. China is quick to attack the challenger once again as Lita keeps her distance, but Essa's volley then gets a little brave when Eddie goes for a powerbomb. Unfortunately, her attack doesn't work out too well, but it does give Essa a chance to counter the powerbomb, and Essa then pulls off an acai moonsault on Latino Heat that sends both guys into the commentary table. Rios wants to keep the pressure on when the action resumes. He flies over the ring post to the outside with a fantastic looking senton. China looks a bit worried, so she stops an aerial attack from Rios, and this allows Eddie to pull off a smooth superplex. Latino Heat then delivers a brainbuster and he goes to end it with a frog splash, but Essa Rios wakes up and Eddie gets brought down with an arm drag. This has been a great match so far, but unfortunately it's nearly over. Essa goes upstairs, he gets incredible rotation on a moonsault, but Eddie gets his knees up. The European champion then delivers an airplane spin neckbreaker, and this is enough to score Eddie the pinfall win. No frog splashes here tonight, but still a fantastic bout. After the bell, Essa dropkicks Eddie into China, and when China's down, Lita runs in to rip her dress off. Eddie Guerrero understands that this must be a little embarrassing, but his eyes pop out of his head when he sees China in her underwear. China just ends up kinda embracing the situation she's found herself in. Something that's supposed to embarrass China turns into something that's, well, it's kinda wholesome in a way, and that's the magic between Latino Heat and his mamacita. Triple H says he's not worried about Steve Austin tonight, even though he apparently hasn't shown up. The game's going to prove again why he's that damn good in tonight's main event. Vince McMahon says he got word from his sources that Steve Austin may not show up tonight due to transportation issues. Would kinda suck if Austin didn't make it, wouldn't it? Chris Benoit faces Chris Jericho next, and Benoit remembered that Jericho called him a robot. Benoit says he actually has emotions and he looks forward to expressing those emotions all over Jericho and the Jerichoholics tonight at Backlash. Benoit's going to take a lot of pleasure in wrecking Jericho while defending his IC Championship. The challenger gets in the ring. He says Benoit seems a bit annoyed that Chris called him Mr. Roboto. He compares Benoit to a politician, and he says he's going to do what every Jerichoholic would do to a politician if they could: beat him up. Benoit makes his entrance, and yeah, good point, he does look like a robot. And we get a KG lockup to start us off, with both men eventually tumbling out of the ring. The two Chris's slap the shit out of each other on the outside. The two then get in each other's faces, they shove each other around before getting through a series of pin attempts and counters, and they then stand toe to toe while trading knife-edge chops. I said this before, but Jericho was easily one of Benoit's greatest ever opponents just because Jericho had absolutely no fear when it came to throwing down with Benoit. Jericho performs a drop toe hold followed by a few mounted punches. Benoit answers with his consecutive German suplexes, but Jericho makes it to the ropes before the third. A back suplex sends Y2J out of the ring. Chris tries a dive through the middle ropes, and yeah, that didn't work out too well. Jericho rearranges the ring steps, but this was all for nothing. Benoit dropkicks the steps into Jericho, and from here, Y2J is going to fight from underneath. Jericho takes a gutbuster, a ton of corner kicks, a catapult and a front suplex onto the top rope, and Benoit looks for a submission with an abdominal stretch. Jericho gets out, he delivers a stiff back elbow before connecting with a lion salt, but the move seems to hurt Jericho just as much as Benoit. He takes too long making his cover, so the match resumes with a spinning wheel kick from the challenger. Benoit goes down after a running facebuster from the Ayatollah. This time, it's the champion who gets hung up on the top rope. Benoit's now on the apron and Jericho's gonna go for a springboard dropkick, but Benoit swats him away and the champion's gonna go upstairs. Strangely, Benoit switches position and it looks like he's going to try a moonsault, but Chris stops the attack and it looks like Benoit was supposed to counter a back suplex in midair, but it didn't look great in all honesty. Jericho's then in a good position after delivering his signature double powerbomb, but the crafty IC champion counters a pin attempt and we see the crippler crossface. The crowd goes nuts as they think the end's near, but Jericho makes it to the ropes and the match continues on. Benoit looks for the crossface again, but Jericho fights out. The Ayatollah manages to lock in the walls of Jericho after quite a struggle, and again, the move gets broken up when Benoit makes it to the ropes. This has been an awesome, old school, no nonsense fight, and these are the kind of matches that WCW, for whatever reason, simply refuse to put on their TV shows nowadays. Just as I say that though, the referee takes a bump and this allows Benoit to grab his IC title. Y2J gets smacked in the face, Benoit then wakes up referee Tim White. 1, 2, kick out before 3. Jericho may have a chance here, but that chance gets a lot slimmer when he takes a back suplex on the IC belt. And then our match has a pretty terrible ending when Benoit goes for the headbutt and Jericho uses the belt to knock Benoit out. The referee wakes up, Tim White awards the match to Chris Benoit, and as Benoit leaves the ring, Y2J argues the outcome. I mean, Jericho did use the belt when the referee woke up, so yeah, you got caught, Chris, and no more to it. In the end, Tim White gets put in the walls of Jericho and the other WWF officials have to try and break it up. Jericho's snapped, and who can blame him after what happened 2 weeks ago on Raw and what happened tonight at Backlash. Main event time, Triple H defends his WWF title against The Rock. Rock won the opportunity to face Triple H tonight after beating Bill Buchanan and the Boss Man inside a steel cage. Linda McMahon knew the odds were going to be stacked against The Rock, especially when her husband announced that he was going to accompany Triple H down to the ring at the pay-per-view. So Linda announced that Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to return and stand in The Rock's corner. To counter this, Shane McMahon was announced as the special referee for this main event match. And to make things a bit more interesting, Steve Austin said he didn't really care about helping The Rock and he didn't care about this match in general. He's looking after number 1 tonight, but he obviously has no love for Triple H. On SmackDown, Stone Cold decided that the best way to show his feelings towards Triple H was to completely destroy the DX Express. A little moment you'll all remember from playing SmackDown 2 on the PS1, no doubt. But all this could be for nothing because Stone Cold still hasn't arrived to the building yet for our main event. Rock says Austin could be anywhere right now, but it doesn't matter. Rock's guaranteed and promised that he's going to win the WWF Championship tonight at Backlash. If the Great One has to run through the entire McMahon family, then so be it. So let's take a look at the match and let's see if The Rock can make history tonight in Washington. Referee Shane McMahon comes out first. Earl Hebner isn't here tonight because Triple H fired him 2 weeks ago. The WWF Champ's out next along with Vince McMahon and Stephanie, and what a heel Triple H has become over these past few weeks. He was always a good villain, but this run up to Backlash has made him into an even bigger asshole. Vince McMahon holds up the Backlash program and he says it's printed in black and white that the card is subject to change. Though that's not the Backlash program, ladies and gents, that's the April 2000 issue of WWF magazine. Still, the card is subject to change, and Vince breaks the news that Steve Austin isn't here tonight. Time to go out and get your refunds, everyone. The Rock marches down to the ring looking like an absolute megastar. He has a stare down with Triple H while standing on the second turnbuckle. There's a great atmosphere in the arena for this one, and the crowd are on fire as the two talk smack to each other before locking up. The match begins with both men sharing right hands. The champ gets the better of the challenger. Rock fights back and the game hits the mat multiple times as the crowd goes nuts. Hunter ducks a clothesline, he goes for the pedigree. Rock gets out with a back body drop, and that little jabroni Shane McMahon pulls Rock away when the challenger attacks in the corner. Hunter takes advantage with a neckbreaker, something that pleases his wife and his dad-in-law, and Rock gets sent to the outside when trying to build some offense. Hunter drops his opponent on the announce table, and when Hunter gets back inside the ropes, Vince McMahon launches an attack. Rock gets sent into the post before getting sent back to the ring. And look, Hunter and Shane are having a nice little hug in the middle of the ring. What a load of shit. Again, Rock tries to build offense. He ducks 2 clotheslines, but he takes the Harley Race knee. Shane's count is definitely fast here, but the Great One kicks out at 2. Suplex from Hunter, knee drop from Hunter. Shane continues his fast counts, but Rock continues to kick out. And our match then slows way down with a sleeper from the WWF Champion. Rock has to contend with more underhanded tactics here, and our match official conveniently misses Hunter cheating. But Rock hangs in there and he fights out with a few right hands. A clothesline puts Rocky right back down, and Vince gets annoyed when the challenger kicks out at 2. Shane needs to count a little faster, but I don't know if he really can. Hunter gets dropped on the top turnbuckle when trying a few mounted punches, and both competitors go down after a double clothesline. Shane tries to help Hunter to his feet when beginning his 10 count, and if you thought this was bad, Vince McMahon gets on the apron to hit Rock with the WWF Championship belt. It looks like Rock has no chance in hell of winning this match. After another fast count and another successful kickout, Rock gets to his feet and he does his best to fight back. He launches himself out of the corner with a clothesline, and Triple H gets sent out of the ring where he begins favouring his left arm. When the two get back in the ring, Rock hits a DDT and he covers the champion. The Boy Wonder refuses the count. So Shane takes a punch to the face and we now have no referee. It really makes no difference anyway. Hunter sends Rock out of the ring, the People's Champ takes a bump at the ring steps, the game then clears the Spanish announce table and he's gonna go for a pedigree. Rock drops down and the champion takes a low blow, and in a spot that you'd never imagine working but it ends up looking awesome, Rock performs a double rock bottom on Triple H and Shane through the announce table. It actually couldn't have looked any better. Rock brings Hunter into the ring, and that's when Vince runs in to attack the challenger. Mr. Big Balls talks a lot of smack afterwards, but he quickly backs down when The Rock goes after him. The game sees this as an opportunity, and this time it's The Rock taking a low blow. And there it is, a pedigree from Triple H. We have no match official, but fear not, ladies and gents, Vince has a backup plan. Out come Patterson and Briscoe wearing referee shirts, yet The Rock still kicks out at 2. So there's nothing left to do but to give Rock the beating of his life in the middle of the ring. The Stooges lay the boots in, they hold Rock up for Triple H to get in a few free shots. Stephanie then passes her dad a steel chair, and Rock takes a chair shot right to the head. Vince even fell over after the swing. This is it, folks. It looks like it's all over. Hunter looks for the pedigree, but then... Fuck me. Even after all these years, it still gives you goosebumps. Everyone takes a chair shot, the champ gets hit, the Stooges get wiped out, Shane gets wiped out, Vince takes a shot that pleases the audience no end, and finally Triple H takes a second chair shot. The Rock was spared, even though Austin said he didn't care much for the People's Champ. Austin leaves as Linda McMahon and Earl Hebner walk down the ramp. Hebner's got his referee shirt on, so we assume he's been rehired. And when Stephanie approaches her mom, she gets shoved down to the floor. Back in the ring, Rock dodges a Triple H chair shot with a spinebuster. The crowd are going absolutely nuts as Rock looks for the People's Elbow. The move connects, the roof comes off the building. Linda sends Earl into the ring to make the count, and The Rock has finally done it. The Rock's beaten Triple H to become a 4-time WWF champion. There's a big old celebration in the ring. Fans have wanted to see Triple H get beat ever since he won the WWF title, and that tease on Raw 2 weeks ago made fans even more desperate. But The Rock's done it, and there's a great atmosphere in the arena to end Backlash. Before we go off the air, Steve Austin comes down in his pickup truck. He's towing the DX Express right behind him, and fans aren't too sure what Austin's going to do here. In the end, he gives Rock a beer and he wants to share a cold one with the new WWF champion. But while Austin doesn't hit Rock with a surprise stunner, he does direct his toast to the WWF Championship belt. Could be nothing, could be something, but whatever the case, Rock also toasts his new championship belt before Backlash goes off the air. A fantastic way to end this main event and this pay-per-view. There's definitely more good than bad on this show, and yes, it is better than WrestleMania 2000. I wouldn't even say there's anything bad here, it's just stuff that we're used to seeing already on Raw, or stuff that isn't really remarkable nor noteworthy. The final 3 matches were all superb, ranging from high-risk offense, hard-hitting technical wrestling, and main event WWF mayhem. And you do come out of Backlash 2000 feeling like your time was well spent. So it's a thumbs up for me and another good WWF pay-per-view for the year 2000. It's kind of funny how WrestleMania has been the worst one so far. You know what to do, reliving the war on Thursday. Stone Cold's back and it's another nail in the WCW coffin, I guess, but we'll see what happens on both shows very soon. Thanks for watching, folks, I do appreciate it, and please take care.